Martial Realm sign in. Jak Cheon Gang said, I'm gonna go to the Shaolin Temple. Jin Tae-kyung said, oh, that's a great idea. Yahoo! We can take a hot bath there and eat wild green bibimbap. We didn't get to eat last time. Jak Cheon Gang said, I'm going alone. Jin Tae-kyung, confused, said, huh? Jak Cheon Gang said, a year ago, thanks to you blabbering about going to the Great Celestial Banquet, I had to go through all kinds of hardship. The selection match is in Kaifeng anyway, so let's not see each other until then. Ah, and give me the travel money you received from the Namgoon clan. Jin Tae-kyung said, huh? Why do you need it? Jak Cheon Gang punched the head of Jin Tae-kyung and said, I need to upkeep my reputation as the Fire King. Should I go there looking like a homeless man? I need to make an offering to the temple. Jin Tae-kyung cried in pain, saying, Achir. Jak Cheon Gang said, by the way, I'm going to kill you if you come to the Shaolin Temple. Do you understand? Jin Tae-kyung said, yes, yes. And he said to himself, I won't go. Never, you old thief. A few moments later, at an inn, the innkeeper said, there aren't any rooms available. Jin Tae-kyung, in anger, said, are you sure? The innkeeper said, I already said there isn't. Do you think I'm a liar? Jin Tae-kyung said, no, don't be like that. Just one room. I have money. Here, this is real money. Do you want to bite it to check? As his money reeked, the innkeeper said, but you just took it out of your underwear. Jin Tae-kyung said, ah, well, I was hiding it. You want to bite it? As the innkeeper was silent, he shouted, get out of here, you broke bastard. A few moments later in an alley, Jin Tae-kyung, walking with his huge balls and chain, said, darn it, and he said to himself, I know there are a lot of people because of the Great Celestial Banquet, but how could there be no rooms available in such a big place? Jong Richu said, wait, sir. Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, goodness, it's so loud. I don't assume he's calling me considering how I look. Jong Richu said, hey, you with the metal weights. As Jin Tae-kyung noticed Jong Richu, he looked back in confusion and said, me? Yes, you. Do you know me? No. Then why? You know what they say about fate. Let's be friends. As he extended his hand, Jin Tae-kyung said, what? Fate, my ass. And he said to himself, who's this ultra extrovert? But we're talking, so it doesn't matter. Ho ho ho. He? Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, he's a peak level martial artist. He looks like he's in his 20s. Impressive, but he looks ordinary. Is it because I'm always surrounded by peak level monsters? Anyway, I don't have anything to do with you, so just go your own way. Aw, don't be so cold to your friend. Then can I talk casually to you? Ho ho, of course. Jin Tae-kyung looked at him in anger and said, then screw off, bastard. As Jong Richu was terrified and sweated, Jin Tae-kyung walked ahead and spat, saying, Tui. Jong Richu, still frozen in shock, suddenly hopped towards Jin Tae-kyung, saying, I spaced out for a second because I've never heard such aggressive words before. All right, that's what being friends is like. Leave while I'm being nice. What's your name? Michael Johnson. Oh, what a unique name. You believe that? Jangsam? Or maybe Yupil? Are you perhaps a disciple of one of the 5 great clans? Why do you care? Because I do. I heard you killed the Crimson Slaughter Axe in one attack. That leader of the bandits. Wasn't it your doing? As Jin Tae-kyung stopped, he said, how did you know that? I heard about it from some merchants of the Golden Frog Merchant Union in a restaurant. The remaining bandits said that it was someone with metal weights that did it. Then I saw you walking by. I was interested, so I followed. Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, what an interesting guy. So what's your name? Jin Tae-kyung. That's my name. The Jin Tae-kyung from the Jin family of Taiyuan? You know about me? Of course. I heard countless times that the hidden dragon became the Fire King's disciple. Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, looks like the news spread wide while I was at Mount Guhua for a year. Then who are you? Ah, I'm Jong Richu. I'm from Yunnan. I can't say what sect I'm from due to some circumstances, but I'm sure you've heard of the nickname Ever Victorious Sword? Jin Tae-kyung scratched his face and said, sorry, but no. Really? Well, that's fine. I understand. Because I just came up with the nickname. A swordsman that always wins. Isn't that awesome? Jin Tae-kyung, frustrated, said to himself, what the hell? He's just some psycho. I should have just scanned him with chi sense and then left. What do you think about a drink to celebrate our new friendship? No, there aren't any spaces in nearby restaurants anyway. Huh? There's no way. Anyway, I know a good place, so let's go. I'll pay since we're friends. Friends, my ass. You said you're Jong Richu, right? Be on your way. I'm busy. Hey, where are you going? None of your business. Don't follow me. Then answer this one last question. Where do I have to go to see you? As Jin Taekyung stepped forward and vanished, he said, "The great celestial banquet." An old man said, "What's with that sudden wind?" As Zhang Richu stood silently, he said, "Hidden dragon of Shanji." Jin Taekyung, hoo. Zhang Richu suddenly vanished. Well, at an inn. The innkeeper looked at the foot of Zhang Richu and said, "Welcome approximately. Are there any rooms available?" The innkeeper smiled an ugly smile and said, "A room? Of course, there are many." Zhang Richu laughed, saying, "Ha ha." At the Hyuk family draper's shop, a lady beautifully wore a nice fine silk robe. An old lady said, "Oh wow, they say clothes complete the look. It looks so good on you. Are you sure you're not an angel?" The lady said to her husband, "What do you think?" Her husband said, "Beautiful." Jin Taekyung said, "Excuse me." The old lady heard Jin Taekyung. As she looked at Jin Taekyung dirty at the entrance, the old lady in anger said, "You can't come in here. You should have some shame if you're gonna beg for money. Get out, fast." "Ugh, this is why you can't help anyone. I was nice to you because you said you're a part of the beggar sect, and you come all the way into my shop? Do you want my shop to close down? Are you trying to kill me? Get out, get out!" As she poked Jin Taekyung with her stick. "Enough with words you're gonna regret. Let me look at some clothes. Here, I have money, so stop treating me like a beggar." The old ugly lady said, "Hyuk, clothes?" As the coin smelled bad, the old lady pinched her nose and said, "Ugh, what are you gonna buy with just 1 silver nyang? And what's with this stink? Just 1 silver nyang?" The old lady pointed at the wall and said, "Don't you see that?" As it said, "The owner has lost her mind. Martial artist clothing for 2 silver nyang. Martial artist clothing for 2 silver nyang." Jin Taekyung was shocked and confused. 2 silver nyangs just for some clothes? Is there a currency reform or something? You can barely buy underclothes with that much. We only use the highest of quality fabric. The martial artist clothing are also made with silk. The lady customer said, "He must be a beggar." "That's so sad, don't you think so?" Her husband said, "You're right. He looks like he'd be good at labor. Should we take him in as a servant?" Jin Taekyung sweated in frustration as he heard all of it. He became angry and in fury said, "Who is a beggar?" As all of them were startled and said, "Ka." The old lady said, "You bastard." As she rang her bell, suddenly someone came down from the stairs. As he swung his wooden baton, 3 men looked at Jin Taekyung, and one of them said, You dare cause a ruckus here, you beggar." "Beggar again? Cook. All right. I'm gonna be the most annoying customer you've ever seen. Let me talk to the owner." Suddenly the owner came down and said, "You must be out of your mind. You must have learned martial arts. But get out of here unless you want to see blood." Jin Taekyung, confused, said, "Huh? What if I don't want to?" The owner sighed and smirked. As he showed off his aura, he said, "Unnamed martial artist, the payment for reckless boldness is death. Hey, can I ask one thing?" The owner unsheathed his sword slowly and said, "Sure, it'll be your last words." Jin Taekyung looked at him seriously as the owner also looked back. "You're Hyuk Jin, right?" As Hyuk Jin sheathed his sword back into its scabbard, he looked closely at Jin Taekyung and sweated, saying, "Squad leader?" Jin Taekyung smirked and said, "I'll give you 3 seconds. Head to the ground." Hyuk Jin said, "Yes, sir." As Jin Taekyung stepped on Hyuk Jin, he said in pain, "Quick." Outside, Jin Taekyung said to Hyuk Jin, "You must have had it good while I was gone, huh? You're looking real bright and healthy." I would never." Jin Taekyung said, "Nameless martial artist, the payment for reckless bravado is death." "What an expert, huh? A real expert." Hyuk Jin sweated and trembled, saying to himself, "Damn it, where did things go wrong? The young leader coming along on the trip to Hanam? Or watching over the Hyuk family drapery shop's Hanam branch because father asked me to? Here? Yes. Damn, you got a real nice place. You must be loaded. Aren't you going to answer?" As he kicked Hyuk Jin said in pain, "Hook, it hurts." "That's the point." As the guard said in shock, "Hook, vice squad leader?" "Ahem. Hem. So, have you been doing a good job?" "This right here is," the guards swung their swords and said, "You bastard, you dare put a hand on our vice squad leader? Ha ha ha. You two put down your swords. I have connections to the Jin family of Taiyuan." Approximately the guards, in anger, said, "How dare you lie to our faces, you beggar? Are you okay, vice squad leader?" Jin Taekyung tried to smile, but his aura raged as he said, "Did you just call me a beggar?" As Hyuk Jin felt the heat of Jin Taekyung's aura and sweated, he shouted, "Hoshul! Yes, vice squad leader! Head to the ground!" Hoshul, confused, said, "Pardon?" A few moments later, Hoshul and his friend trembled on the ground. Jin Taekyung walked past them and said, "Kakyakya." Hyuk Jin looked back at them and said to himself, Cook. Sorry, guys. That's right. Finally, you're acting like my right hand. As he slapped Hyuk-Moo-jin's back, Hyuk-Moo-jin said, I said it hurts. As Jin Wee-kyung was nearby, Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, Young Nim. Jin Wee-kyung noticed them and stared at Jin Tae-kyung in shock and enlightenment. Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, there are people you can recognize even if it's been 10 years instead of 1. No matter how messy they may look or how much they have changed, that's what it's like to be related, to be brothers. As Jin Wee-kyung, with open arms, walked towards Jin Tae-kyung, he then saluted and said, Are you from the beggars sect? Jin Tae-kyung was left hanging with his arms open wide in shock. Hyuk-Moo-jin sneezed to signal Jin Wee-kyung and said, Ha! As Jin Wee-kyung was confused, Jin Tae-kyung was frustratedly silent and said to himself, Brothers, my ass. A few moments later, Jin Wee-kyung laughed, saying, Ho 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 ho, ho ho ho, I actually recognized you at first glance. You really thought I didn't recognize you? Are you kidding? You even asked me what role I have in the beggar sect. Hey, Vice Squad Leader, didn't I say to you earlier with frequency whispering technique that I'd pretend to not recognize him? So to play along? Ow, young leader, why are you stepping on me? Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, You sure are trying. Vice Squad Leader, how can you do that to me? Ah, what did I do? I'm gonna go. They're both still the same. I wonder how the others are doing. Huh? Chang Peng went missing? Yes, he left not long after you did with the ultimate Plum Blossom Trio to Manhwa sect, but apparently he ran off. So he's not missing, he just ran away. The elder from the Manhwa sect came here himself asking us to contact him if we were to ever see him. It must have been quite the incident. The elder trembled and said, Oui. I request of you. I can understand why, since the strongest of the sect and then the grandson disappeared one after the other. But it sounded rather familiar. Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, I feel like the Sword Saint and Chong Peng could be related. They act the same. Why? Our own patriarch is missing. Ah. Sigh. So we agreed to help each other out. Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, just what kind of person is the patriarch that he's just gone missing without saying anything? Isn't he worried about his children? Did he die somewhere? Well, I'll probably see him sometime. Or not. Jin Tae-kyung looked behind and said, Where's second brother anyway? Didn't you come with him? The second is still training in isolation. Huh? Again? Well, technically he's still doing it. Not doing it again. All this time, what if he lost track of time? Jin Wee-kyung took a sip of his cold tea and said, I went to ask him before I left if he wanted to come with me. He wanted me to tell you that he wasn't going to leave until he's... As Jin Tae-kyung was silent, he said to himself, if he were to attend the great celestial banquet, he could become really famous with just the skills he has right now, while others are reaching for the fruit. He's trying to take over the entire tree instead. What a determined bastard. He's been surviving on just nuts and vegetables? Right. That's a real martial artist. That's a bit disappointing. I was looking forward to the three of us getting together. I'll have to replace that disappointment with joy. Huh? Bring that over. As the door opened and Hyuk-Moo-jin went inside, Jin Tae-kyung, in shock, stood up. Do you recognize it? This! As Hyuk-Moo-jin put down the item, Jin Wee-kyung said, 2 weeks ago, Elder Tae-bo handed this to me and said, as Hyuk-Moo-jin gently opened the ribbon, Jin Tae-kyung waited for it to open. That he finally understands how Ganjiang and Moye felt, as Hyuk-Moo-jin held a shiny spear. In the past, Jokcheong-gang said, what are you groaning for? You sound like a dog that needs to shit. Ah, it's nothing much. I've already reached the 3rd mastery in Scorching Sun Divine Arts, but I was wondering if I should do 1 more year in isolated training. Why are you looking at me like that? Nothing. I was just amazed by how stupid you are. That seems quite unusual. Do you know how old I am? How should I know when you don't know yourself? I'm 101 this Jokcheon Dalmatians. Jokcheon-gang, in anger, said, if you spout bullshit 1 more time, I will use you as firewood. Fine. Anyway, after all those decades, I'm still at 8th mastery. And what were you saying? Wait, 8th mastery? I thought you already reached complete mastery long ago. You think the divine arts are called that for no reason? You may be quick to learn, and the Scorching Clan may be the best place to learn their divine arts. But there is a limit. 5th mastery is the limit for the Scorching Sun divine arts. After that? Martial arts is like a weapon and needs to be regularly sharpened and cleaned. The answer is to reach awakening through deep consideration and experience. Then I guess I'll only learn up to 5th mastery in the time I have left. Tch. "You're so damn greedy." Jin Tae-kyung in pain said, "Ah!" As he was smacked in the head by Jak Cheon-gang, he said, "Reaching third mastery within half a year is amazing enough, you fool. You need to stop with your nonsense just because you have a divine martial physique. Then how long do you think it'll take? 2 years at the least. Even if you have divine martial physique, it'll take 2 years, but don't be disappointed. It took me 5 years to reach 5th mastery." Half a year later, Jak Cheon-gang, shocked, opened his mouth wide and said, This isn't possible. This can't be." "But it is. Did it really take you 5 years? As Jin Tae-kyung sweated and raged in flaming aura, Jak Cheon-gang said, "You bastard. I was considered a genius too." "Yeah, right. This isn't possible. How can I lose to someone like you?" As Jin Tae-kyung smiled, a system notification said, "You have successfully completed Q Regulation, Scorching Sun Divine Arts, has reached 6th mastery. All of the martial arts of the Scorching Clan have become stronger and more precise. Stamina has been recovered. Level up." As Jin Tae-kyung took a bath and raged in flaming aura, he said, "Finally, 6th mastery. This is only the beginning." As Jin Tae-kyung stepped out of the bathtub and looked at the mirror, he remembered what Jin Wee-kyung said. "Everyone will have their eyes on you at the great celestial banquet. It's a sin for the hidden dragon of Shanxi to appear in Zhongyuan like this. It's not bad, though I do look better with a shave. Squad leader, it's time to leave." Jin Tae-kyung fixed his hair and said, "All right." As he reached for his clothes, he said, "Ah, right, I still had these." As his ball and chains clanged, he said, "Open inventory, summon white flames." As his weapon materialized, he said, "Oh, my baby, you like your name?" As Jin Tae-kyung smiled, he made quick slashes. Yuk Mu Jin, outside of Jin Tae-kyung's room, heard clanking noises inside. He opened the door and said, "What was that just now?" "Nothing. Let's go." As the ball and chains dropped to the ground, he said, "Ah, take the chains." Hyuk Mu Jin sweated and said, "Why? Are you going to tie me up? That chain is 10 millennia cold steel." Hyuk Mu Jin was shocked and greedily said, "Ha! It's mine. A few moments later, outside, the sun was up. As Jin Tae-kyung walked with his new spear, he said, "Time to go." Jin Tae-kyung said to himself, "The destination is Mount Song. That's where the great celestial banquet with all of Murim's attention will be held." Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.